Good morning. Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. Yes. And I hope you have your coffee. I have a frog in my throat. It's not a sickness frog. It's a something went down the wrong way right before I turned this on sort of frog. Good morning, Leanne. And good morning, Louise. So as I continue to clear my throat, I'm going to drink some coffee. Good morning, Paul and Sue. Good morning, Joyce. So glad to see you this morning. I hope you all have your coffee. Always so very good. Yes. So today is Wednesday. Good morning, Greg. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Linda. Glad you have joined us. Yes, my tree, I am taking great joy in my tree, and I like to turn on the lights and just come and sit and look at the tree. Good morning, Carly. So glad that you've joined us this morning. So it is bringing me great joy, which is exactly what we're talking about this week. And good morning, Rob, and good morning, Lori. So glad that you've joined us. This is by far probably my favorite time of the day. Good morning, Karen. And as much as it takes effort to get up and get around, right? Because it does. Just the spending time together and sharing a cup of coffee with friends, but also just talking about the Lord is just so very encouraging. So I think my frog is almost gone. Yeah, that was just, you know how you just, something goes down the wrong way and you're just like, it's a wee bit embarrassing, especially when it happens in public and you just start coughing and nothing's wrong except for something went down the wrong way. Yeah. Good morning, Debbie. So anyways, hopefully it'll just go away. Good morning, Ellen. And good morning, Diane. So glad to see you. So I'm going to put my coffee down and I'm going to put my glasses on because I find they just help me see you a wee bit better. Oh, look at that. So much nicer. So this morning we are in this week of, third week of Advent. I gave you some homework yesterday. Which was you were supposed to look for joy. You were supposed to look for 3 things that made you happy or just stood out to you. I would love you just to type some of those in. I'll share some of mine. So we're going to do our homework first before we get on to the new stuff. And you're like, Jen, I didn't do my homework. Well, you can start thinking about it right now. So some of the things that brought me joy yesterday, I hung out via Zoom with my friend Jared, who's the executive pastor at Calvary Temple Church. And so we put together some devos for in between Christmas and New Year's. Good morning, Elizabeth. 5 life lessons from COVID. Good morning, Donna. I saw that you're baking cookies. I'm like, oh, you were baking cookies yesterday? That's good joy. Very good joy. So yeah, you can look forward to that in between Christmas and New Year's. 5 life lessons from COVID. And so that brought me great joy just to hang out with my friend Jared, who I've known for so many years. Yarn from Velma you're gonna make some blankets for cancer patients. So nice. I always like getting yarn too. I actually brought a ball of yarn back from my mom's when I saw her on the weekend, and that actually brought me great joy because I'm like, ooh, what am I going to create? Good morning, Lois. Glad that you've joined us this morning. And so, okay, what else? What are some other things that brought you joy yesterday? Yeah, so that was good. And then I had supper with some friends to celebrate my birthday, family game night via Zoom. Ooh, that sounds good. Right? All these things that bring us joy. Yeah. So many things that just sort of pop out sometimes. And good morning, Mina. And so we have, various things, baking cookies, playing games, receiving An unexpected gift of cash always brings joy. I made traditional banana bread for my brothers and nephew and my dad, and they each get a full, baking. I must say, baking does have a measure of great joy, especially when it turns out right. So that is good. All right, anything else that brought you joy before we go on? Yep, I had a good staff meeting, got to see all of my staff faces, good conversations after that. That was good. So, yeah, a desperately needed hospital appointment, right? Even those can bring us great joy. FaceTime with my great-granddaughter. Yes, right? And Jill, I totally agree. Sometimes when you've been waiting so long for an appointment and you're like, yes, like you get there and it's just such a relief. Like, yes, we're moving in the right direction, right? No weight gain, always a good source of joy. Yes, especially at Christmas. So I want to encourage you to do that again today. So you're going to look for joy, a porch visit with my friend Sandy, and then a surprise drop-in from another dear friend who brought muffins. So good. So good. So yes, today you're going to continue to look for those sources of joy. It could be, I want to say a hamburger drive-through A&W, right? When you take that first bite and you're like, yes, especially if it's a matzo burger. You're like, that is just so good. That refreshing glass of water that you have when you're so thirsty and you're just like, oh, that's so good. Or it could be, you get a text and you're like, that was a good text. Or you get all green lights. I was coming up Bayfield last night and I got like this stretch of green lights and I was like, yeah. That was so cool. Just so cool to see all those green lights. That brought me joy. And so a warm, cozy blanket, text conversation with a friend, right? So good. So today, your homework, keep looking for those joys. So as I visited with my friends last night, we got talking about this concept of what does it mean that joy comes in the morning? And because it just, does that mean you can go to bed? Okay, here's the question. What does joy in the morning mean? And it's more of a yes. Does that mean you can go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and everything be perfectly fine and you're full of joy? Is that what that means? That you can, have so many problems at night and then you wake up in the morning and everything's good. This is the conversation that that we were having last night. What does that mean that joy comes in the morning? Does it really mean that doesn't matter what happened the day before, it's all going to be good the next morning? Yeah. Is that what it means? As I'm cleaning off my glasses and looking at you. What does that mean? Joy comes in the morning. And this is why we hang out first thing in the morning, so we can wrestle through these theological ideas. That's so nice of you to join me and help me work through this stuff and then help other people work through that stuff. You guys didn't know that you were all part of a team, did you? What does that mean? That joy comes in the morning. Because we sing it. We actually sang a song for a really long time. It goes, it's called Trading My Sorrows. And one of the lines is, though the sorrow may last for the night, his joy comes in the morning. God's mercies are new every day. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We're still talking about muffins, which is so good because they do bring me great joy. His mercies are new every day. So there's this sense of new strength that comes in the morning. That is so true. So what does that mean? That his joy comes in the morning. It doesn't mean that everything will be okay, but his hope of a renewed day is new every day. I'm going to read that one more time. I think I can scroll back down. It says, no, it doesn't mean everything will be okay, but his hope is of a renewed day every day. That's cool. I think I just increased my brightness. Yeah, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be okay. Because we've all experienced that that's not true, right? We've all experienced that, you go to bed at night, you kind of hope that everything's going to work itself out in the morning, but we know that's not true. But the two answers that have come up so far is that idea of, but his presence is fresh and bringing us new hope and new mercies, right? So it's like this idea of everything will be renewed, right? That we need to continue on. And I want to say this happens best in exchange. That song, Trading My Sorrows, it says, I'm trading my sorrows, I'm trading my pain, I'm trading it all for the joy of the Lord, right? It goes on to say, I'm trading my shame, I'm trading my sickness, I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. And so there's this idea of an exchange. And I'm going to jump back for just a minute. Especially at Christmas time, it seems like, or whenever, we need just to put on this face that everything is okay, right? When somebody asks us, because we really don't want to get into it, right? We're like, we're fine. Everything's okay. Oh yeah, like this is not working out, but I'm okay. And I actually have, I'm a fan of not lying. So I'll put it like that. I'm a fan of not lying. And so when somebody asks me how I am, I try to avoid saying I'm fine. Like I want to give them a genuine answer of how I'm actually feeling. And so, because I want to have some legitimacy in it. And not that I always want to get into it, but, just this is how I'm feeling, or this is what I'm working through, and just being honest. Because so often we put on this face that says everything's fine when everything's not fine, and we can then wonder why we're not feeling fine. And so we need to try to avoid the fineness. Or I don't know if you have ever watched the movie Inside Out by Disney, which is, I think, a fairly okay movie. I would say it's safe for you to watch because not all movies are good for us to watch, but I would say that's a good movie of inside this young teenage girl, there are 5 emotions, and joy wants everything to be good. Like everything needs to be always happy. And whenever there's sorrow or anger or fear or whatever, I think it's like revulsion. I'm not sure what the one girl is. But whenever any of that comes up, Joy's like, no, everything. And she just tries to work it out that everything's already all fine. And she doesn't actually allow those other emotions to come up. It's like they don't matter. But that's not true. So the whole movie is based on the fact that it's important to express emotions properly at the proper time, but to actually express them, to say it's, if you're feeling sad, it's okay to feel sad. If you're feeling anger, it's okay to feel that anger. If you're feeling fear, then it's okay to feel that fear. And it's not just about covering up and putting on a happy face, right? Doing our hair, makeup, or shaving. And it's important to express how we're feeling. And we've often... I've often said, like, be honest with the Lord, to be honest with the Lord. Good morning, Shelley. And one of the Psalms that we talked about on Sunday was chapter 16, Psalm 16, or 13, where it says, David is so like, how long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? And it just goes on to say, like, how long, like being very real with the Lord. And you might think, oh, I don't know how to do that. And the best way is just like you would have a conversation with someone, is just sit on your couch, sit in your car, lie on your bed and just like, God, how long? And I don't want you to, some people might think, well, I can't talk to the Lord like that. And it's like, he's your loving Father. Like, he wants you to express what you're feeling, and the frustration and the fear and the anger and the hurt and the betrayal. He wants you to tell him. Because this is this whole idea of exchange, right? That, Lord, I'm gonna trade you my sorrow for your joy. I'm gonna give this to you. And just like the comments, it doesn't mean everything's going to be wiped away, but in our exchange of me giving you this stuff that's going on and being real about it, I'm going to receive your hope. I'm going to receive your peace. I'm going to receive your joy when we do this exchange. Because when we do the exchange, because when I hold on to it, I'm just going to feel burdened, right? I'm going to feel heavy, and I can't fix anything, but you can. And so doing that great exchange. And so when we talk about in Psalm 30 about the joy of the Lord, or joy comes in the morning, it says, but for his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may remain for a night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. And so it's this idea that it might not come exactly at 6 a.m. when you get up, or 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 10 a.m. or noon, but it will come. It will come because he's promised it. It's like you'll go through this season of darkness. Ecclesiastes 3 says there is a time for everything under heaven. And it does say there's a time for mourning and a time for singing. And yes, Karen is saying every once in a while a good cry is very cleansing, and God has a way of meeting us there. It's so true. Crying or just yelling helps us just express to the Lord what we're feeling. And so after, this season of darkness, the joy comes. Because that's Psalm 30 goes on to say this. So it says, weeping may remain for a night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. When I felt secure, I said, I will never be shaken. O Lord, when you favored me, you made my mountain stand firm. But when you hid your face, I was dismayed. And so he's being very real about how he's feeling. To you, O Lord, I called. To the Lord I cried for mercy. What gain is there in my destruction, in my going down to the pit? Will the dust praise you? Will it proclaim your faithfulness? Hear, O Lord, and be merciful to me. O Lord, be my help. You turned my wailing into dancing and removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy, that my heart may sing to you and not be silent. O Lord, my God, I will give you thanks forever. So I think David sets the perfect example of us being very real with the Lord, doing that exchange, whether it's like conversation in tears or in anger. But there has to be that exchange, giving it to the Lord so we can receive his hope and goodness and peace. And that can be then expressed out in joy. And at the end of the movie, you see, of the Inside Out movie, you see happy or joy, and you see sadness actually holding hands and making a new memory. Because tough stuff happens. And we can't just say, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Because that's not healthy. It's probably not even true. And so taking whatever the situation, just saying, Lord, that disappointed me, right? That disappointed me. Can we talk about it? And allowing God to minister to us in those moments. And so if that happens today, if there's a disappointment or a frustration or just immediately, don't let it build up, just give it to the Lord, okay? So you have two homeworks. One, keep looking for joy. And two, don't let the frustrations build up. Like immediately, just, Lord, that is disappointing me. That's a disappointing situation. That's a frustrating. Can we talk about this? And in the moment, talk about it with the Lord, okay? Don't let it build up, because then that will overflow into the next situation. And I learned that so well on Sunday, where I didn't deal with the situation and I knew it was going to overflow into the next ones. And I'm like, God, we got to deal with this right now, because I don't want this overflowing into everything else, right? So deal with it. Let God in the situation, explain to him what's going on as if he needs it to be explained, but he wants you to do that. And then allow him just to bring his peace and joy into that, all right? So do the exchange. Do the exchange today. Keep a short list on those emotions. Don't let them build up, but be real with the Lord. Let's pray. Oh Lord, there's so much we could talk about being real and receiving your joy when we exchange our fear, anxiety, frustration, and sadness with you. But you're so faithful in coming. You're so faithful in coming. And Lord, that doesn't mean that the situation goes away, but it does mean that your presence is there. And in that we have joy. Yes, in that we have joy. So Lord, would you help us to be honest with you today, to give you our frustrations, our fears, our insecurities, our anger, and allow you to come with your hope and your peace and your goodness and your joy and your grace. Because that's what you want, oh Lord. And that's what we need. Help us to do that today, we pray. In your name, amen. All right, my dear friends, that's it. That's all. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Be filled with joy. Bye.